Completely just free and liberated. I let go of anything that's in my head when I play my instrument, and that's whether I'm on stage playing in front of 1,000 people, or whether I'm playing a small pub or someone's wedding, or just sat, running my lines at home. For me, it's almost like escapism, because I don't think about anything else when I'm doing what I'm doing.
Nothing beats being on stage with a band and watching people dance, you know what I mean? Knowing that everyone else in that crowd is loving what you're doing, it makes you feel better because you're making them feel good. It's just the best feeling on earth, really. I think it's one of them. As a musician, if you're not making people dance, you're not doing your job. I just love kind of watching other people be happy because I'm doing what makes me happy.
All the thoughts that I had before I get on stage completely go. And like any sense of responsibility or worry or anxiety just goes away.
I'm more likely to put on an act in my day-to-day life than I am on stage. So I think, it's one of the times I truly not really feel like myself is when I'm singing my songs. So. But yeah, I feel myself when I'm playing music and stuff, so that's why I want to pursue it.
When you're playing the Dilruba, I think the way I feel is that I feel very focused, I feel very concentrated, I feel the resonance of the instrument, something which you cannot pick up on normal dynamic recording. Actually being in the presence of someone who actually plays the Dilruba, a master of that art, it's an amazing thing to experience. It's an experience, and every time I play and practice, again, it's an experience. You could also say it's a majestic experience playing the Dilruba.
Because a lot of people kind of notice that I don't get distracted while playing. I kind of just in a zone. I don't seem to have a fear before I play, but I get into this comfort zone of just, I'm not even aware of what I'm doing. Subconscious taking over from the conscious, I suppose.
If someone's singing along to your songs, or even if it's not if someone's singing along to you and you're playing, that's an incredible feeling. Sometimes it feels like a bit of a mission, really, especially when you've got a day job and life gets in the way. You're like, I need to do some guitar practice, or I really can't be bothered to do any guitar practice. But then when you start singing, there's like a zone that I'm in, and it's almost like, why did I not want to do this? This is what I should be doing. Like, I love doing this. Like, even the worst gigs where like no one's paying attention and there's hardly anyone there, and you're just playing covers for a few hours while people have some nice dinner, there's still something about it that keeps me doing it. It's like, it's still amazing that I'm going out and doing that.
So for me, it feels very, very hands-on, very, very primitive, and it's such a great way of expressing yourself. It's such an acoustic instrument and it sounds different in every room. It's sort of, you're going to get a different feedback from the kit, if you like. The kit's going to talk to you, so to speak, in a different way. However you play it, it makes me feel very creative.
You lose yourself. I think you lose yourself with the instrument, with the music. You get lost into it. It's like running into a jungle with no barriers. You just want to go further and further away.
I hit the city and I
What initially drew me to playing the drums would be to hit things and kind of be a bit of a kid, play music with musicians and be loud. My initial sort of inspirations were from quite a young age was a drummer called Elvin Jones who played with Miles Davis. He played on one of Miles Davis's EP called Blue Moods. It's fantastic. It's a different sort of approach to the drum kit. So it's much more musical, much more much more space, much more different things like different polyrhythms. So he's a fantastic player.
I want this to centralize me and somehow de-hypnotize me.
What first drew me to playing guitar was being massively into Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think, at the time, and listening to John Frusciante. And I think it was the first time I started like noticing instruments. And before that, it was just songs, Hendrix, like everybody else, because it's Hendrix. I never really wanted to emulate them. It was more like I just loved it. He got me like into the blues and stuff. He playing, he did Hear My Trainer Coming on his 12-string acoustic guitar, and that's when I thought, like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do.
There's no right or wrong answer when making art, I guess. It's all about what you put in and what you get out. Bob Dylan, David Bowie, Prince.
My brother got a guitar for Christmas when he was about 12, so I was about 10 or 11. And obviously I just wanted to do everything my brother wanted to do, so I kept on trying to play his guitar, and he didn't like it, so he told me to get a bass. In 2002, the Red Hot Chili Peppers released their album, By the Way, and as soon as I heard that bass line, I was like, wow, I need to learn how to do that.
The primary instrument that I learned was tabla, something that was affiliated with the local Sikh temple. So part of the community, and part of that community was, as part of Sikhs, depending on the family, is that you learn certain instruments that could be used in religious hymn music. I attended a music concert done by one of the classical rag teachers in Nottingham. I saw them perform, and that was something that really resonated with me, and I thought this will be another challenge after my primary degree. The dilrubal was something that I wanted to learn, and it was a new challenge for me, and I needed a new challenge. The instrument itself was something that I just wanted to learn because it resonated with me.
If I could change your mind, I'd do anything, but therein lies the problem.
I started learning guitar when I was 11. When I was about 9, I discovered Hanson. Admittedly, not the coolest thing to admit, but I really wanted to be one of the Hanson brothers. And so at an age where I didn't know whether I wanted to be them or be with them. So I went with be them, so that's how I was interested in learning how to play guitar. When I was about 12, I think we were going somewhere in the car, and I had my CD Walkman on. I put the headphones in as if I was going to start listening to whatever I liked. But my dad put in Nevermind by Nirvana. Heard the opening chords to Smells Like Teen Spirit. That was it. That was when I was like, this is the direction I want to go in with my playing and writing.
I'll try my best for all my days.
They had like a little gazebo out in Bilston Town Centre. There was a drum kit, there was guitars, there was all this kind of stuff, and there was just a band of all their tunes playing. I was with my granddad, and he's kind of into music, and I used to build guitars and stuff. And he was like, "Go on, do you want to go get up? You know, do you want to play guitar? Do you want to play bass?" Blah, blah. I was like, oh, I was a kid. I was like, "Nah, not really. I don't want to make a fool of myself," kind of thing. And he was like, "Oh, what about the drums?" I was like, "Yeah, go on, I'll give that a go." So I've got up there and I've sat on the kit and didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was going, "Ba-da-dush," you know, someone's made a joke, "Ba-da-dush, ba-da-dush, ba-da-dush." Felt right, you know what I mean? I've never had that before, because I was never really good at football, never good at games, anything like that. I'd kind of found something, I kind of felt where I belonged, you know what I mean? Probably a lot of drummers my age, especially when you're younger, it's got to be Animal from the Muppets. Whereas the one, you know what I mean, seeing the drum battles like Buddy Rich and stuff like that. People like Keith Moon as well, who were kind of completely different to any other drummer. You know, they weren't just a pocket player. he was just a force of nature behind the kit, you know, mad solos everywhere, and he was The Who. The Who wouldn't have been The Who if it wasn't for Keith Moon.
A lot of mainstream music that comes out now, it's very sameish. Like they all sing about the same stuff. Whereas with a band like this, or like with any noise rock or like aggressive band, it's like it's just a different take on everything. Stuff like this isn't going to go mainstream because it's like, I suppose it's too depressive and like angry. Whereas like mainstream pop music, you know, like you're not gonna have like some 14-year-old girl who like listens to Taylor Swift like whack us on a playlist and be like, oh yeah, these are fucking these
I think like the better word for it is like it's more like honest. It's more truthful. It's more music that's it kind of symbolises like human like species.
It's all based in fucking anger, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Like when I started this, I was really unusually angry, and I just sort of like hated everything, and I decided, you know, I'm gonna put this all into songs and see what I can do with that. It's morphed into this. It's been a nice experience, you know.
More than anything, the burning, intense desire that is inside of me to play music, that has not diminished in the slightest, that has only deepened as time has gone on, is when we're hitting it, when we are really inside the groove, when we're on, I'm lost, man. And in that moment, I am truly free of everything, and I am truly one with everything.
There's just two, like a volume and tone and one pickup, so there's no pickups any different. There's no neck pickup, so you can get like a nice warm, clean legato sound or something. Boss Mega Distortion pedal, I use that through this tiny little amp, and that's all I used for ages.
First guitar was bought off a market, and it was bright green. And it was just, I remember the strings were rusty, and it was just a real displeasure to play. But I think if you learn on something bad, then you're better on something good. So
it was a bit like hitting paint tubs, to be honest. It was set up in the back of the house, and you know, only allowed to play at certain hours, so I didn't annoy the neighbours.
Probably the first year or two, playing on pillows on my nan's sofa with you know, I had one pair of sticks and that kind of thing. And then eventually I'd had lessons probably about 6 months, so I was still in primary school, you know what I mean. And then my mum kind of made probably the bad decision to buy like a 9 or 10-year-old drum kit, which I think she regretted almost instantly. Performance percussion, Blue Sparkle. I had it for years. I sold it probably about 2 or 3 years ago to a mate's band. Oh, it was terrible. It's one of those, like, I don't think they were round, you know what I mean? It was really bad. Put some new heads on it, kind of upgrades it a little bit here and there, but it's one of those things, like, you're playing and your bass from sliding halfway across the floor, or you hit your crash and it just kind of, the tilter just goes, you know what I mean? It was diabolical, but I suppose kind of, no one starts with a good instrument. It kind of makes you better because you kind of have to learn how to deal with something going wrong.
Good bit of firewood. I got that from the bargain pages, and I sold my first Nokia 3310 in order to buy it. It was called a Columbus, never heard of it. I turned up to this guy's house, it hadn't been used for ages, so I gave him sort of 60 quid and sort of handed it over without even trying it. I took it to TR Music in Walsall around the corner, being like, look, I bought this bass second hand, can you sort me out an amplifier? And they did, a little Behringer that I still use now to practice on. It was a really heavy, clunky bass, and it wasn't comfortable to play, and I'd kind of had to prove my worth to my mum on it. And then that December for Christmas, she bought me my first Yamaha because I'd kind of proved that I was learning the lines and getting it all down. You know, look, I'm good, Mum, get me another one.
My first guitar was a Squire Strat from Argos, and it had this little really crap practice amp that sounded like these?
So I first started out with recorder when I was in infant school. I did that for a couple of years. It was a big influence on me when I was growing up. I did violin lessons when I was in year 3 and year 4. I was terrible at that. I really wanted to learn saxophone, and I told my parents, I really fancy a saxophone, I think this would be great. And then on that Christmas, my dad bought me a guitar, and I was like, oh, right, well, I guess I'm playing guitar then.
My first electric guitar was a cornflower blue Dan Electro. It was like really retro looking. And then as I got a bit older, I thought, I want to be funky. I'm going to cover my guitar in bright pink fur. So I remember, I think like my dad just died a little inside, because it was like one afternoon, he was like, go to the fabric shop, buy like loads of pink fabric. They're like, oh, what are you doing with this? I was like, covering a guitar in it.
Well, the first time I picked up a guitar was 6 or 7 years old, after I'd seen Elvis on the Ed Sullivan Show. And I got it home, and the great thing is I remember opening the case, and it was just lying there like this. And I remember the first thing that I noticed was the smell that came up out of the case, the smell of the wood. And still one of the most promising smells in the world to me to this day. One afternoon, I went into the backyard and all the neighborhood kids were there, and I took my guitar out and I strapped it on, and I made a noise that sounded something like this. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. I simply had no ability to play a good solid chord at all, but I did enjoy beating the hell out of it, and it was just a moment as I stood there with the guitar strapped on me where I smelled blood for the first time.
I mean, I've been invited to studios quite a few times, and I've played with a few people in Birmingham, and they're just amazed when you play a little bit. An instrument like this is not widely known, but when you do play it, people are taken aghast, they're taken away with the instrument itself.
I think you talk yourself out of trying to pursue it as a career, you know, especially in certain environments it just doesn't seem feasible. I'm trying to talk myself into being a bit more confident and stuff like that, and just trying to get out there and actually see if we can squeeze a living out of it, because I just don't think I could find the same satisfaction in anything else.
I'm not a very academic person, I'm much more of a practical based person, as a lot of musicians are. Everything was hands-on with me. So I used to play in a jazz band. I learned Latin American percussion as well, so like timbales and congas and stuff like that. I used to play lots of different stuff. That for me was a moment when I sort of sat down, you know, playing Take 5 by Dave Brubeck or, you know, whatnot. It was sort of a really good moment for me to sort of think, well, this is where I feel at home, like, you know, this is my office sort of thing, as a behind the drum kit, yeah.
Life gets in the way of doing the stuff that you really, really love. But recently, I think when I listen to other bands and listen to music, there's still a part of me that's like, I want to do that. I don't want to not be doing this, I don't want to not be creating.
When you start doing it as a living, you realise how lucky you are to actually be able to do what you love. You know, it never feels like a job, which is just amazing. Just being able to turn up to basically work and just play drums is absolutely great. All being able to teach people, and you know what I mean, I can help people fall in love with drums the way I did, you know what I mean. I can help my students, and just seeing their improvement as well, it's the best feeling in the world, watching them kind of sit and struggle with something and having that moment where it just clicks and they get it. Because I remember that, I think that was only a couple of years ago for me, you know what I mean, so watching someone else kind of have that feeling and I know I've helped them there, that's just amazing.
Every other band that night at Rafters was on stage because they wanted to be on stage, they wanted to be rock stars, they wanted to be in the music business. But this lot were on stage because they had no fucking choice.
What would stop me from playing music? I think losing a limb.
Losing a hand or fingers, or hence why I don't really do any DIY.
A tragic accident where I lost my hands. That would be the only thing that would stop me from playing.
I think once you play, you'll always play to some degree. And I think if you don't, then you're never really that into it.
I think this is something I would do no matter what. It doesn't matter what environment I'm in, what personal circumstance I'm in. Obviously I've got to have breaks, but you know, I think music's in me.
I reckon you could probably chop my arms and legs off and I'd still find some way of like holding a drumstick in my mouth or something, you know what I mean? Or headbutting a snare drum, you know what I mean?
It's a pretty blunt answer, but if I lost my limbs.